The forest of Jetavana was serene, its silence broken only by the rustling leaves and chirping birds. Disciples gathered around Buddha, seeking wisdom. Ananda, the youngest disciple, approached Buddha with a troubled expression. "Master, why does the virtuous suffer while the wicked prosper?" he asked. The Buddha listened intently, his serene expression comforting Ananda, like the still waters of a tranquil and untouched lake. "My dear Ananda," Buddha spoke, his tone gentle yet firm. "Economic security is not found in clinging but in mindful practices. The fruits of actions are not always immediate or visible." He gestured towards a mango tree nearby, its branches heavy with ripe fruit. "Consider this tree," Buddha continued. "Its fruits are the result of seeds sown long ago." Ananda nodded, his curiosity piqued by Buddha's analogy. "Master, does this mean suffering is inevitable for the virtuous?" he asked. Buddha smiled gently, his eyes reflecting compassion. "Suffering is a part of existence, Ananda," Buddha replied. "It arises from attachment and ignorance, not virtue or vice." Buddha said, "Let your conduct reflect the virtues you admire. Let compassion and integrity shape your path. Regardless of challenges ahead, the future may be uncertain, but your actions rooted in mindfulness will influence the outcomes most aligned with inner clarity." Buddha explained. In his next life, he was reborn as a king, prosperous and wise. The disciples listened intently, their minds absorbing Buddha's teachings. "The universe is vast and just," Buddha continued, "but its justice transcends human perception and lifetimes." He paused, allowing his words to sink in before continuing. Each sentence remained etched in their hearts as they sought to apply the teachings to their personal lives and professions. Buddha's presence, calm and unyielding, was a beacon illuminating paths unknown and easing the burdens of life's complexities. Another day, the monastery was alive with the gentle hum of nature and the murmurs of the disciples gathering together. Soma, a weaver of humble means, approached the Buddha, her face etched with worry over her uncertain economic future. "Endurance comes from understanding the impermanence of all things," Buddha replied. "Suffering is transient, like clouds passing through the sky." "My dear Soma," the Buddha said, "simplicity is not a weakness but a source of strength when embraced with gratitude and balance. Consider the tree outside this monastery," the Buddha gestured. "Its roots are deep, its needs modest, yet it provides abundantly." He found peace amidst turmoil. The disciples exchanged glances, their hearts inspired by Buddha's teachings. "Compassion and wisdom are the keys to enduring suffering," Buddha continued. "They transform pain into growth and understanding." There was a potter in a distant village whose livelihood faltered as the demand for her wares diminished drastically. Buddha began. Instead of succumbing to despair, the potter taught her neighbors the art of pottery. Building a community of artisans, Buddha said. Together, they innovated and shared resources, turning their individual hardships into a flourishing collective venture. Buddha recounted the inspiring story. The potter embraced simplicity and harmony, creating art born not of wealth but of resilience and community. Buddha concluded. Wisdom comes from introspection and mindfulness. He narrated the story of a farmer who learned compassion through his struggles. The path forward is not in fearing simplicity but in embracing it and finding strength in its harmonious rhythm, Buddha advised. The future may be unclear, but a heart rooted in balance will always find ways to adapt and thrive, Buddha added wisely. Soma bowed deeply, her worries eased, her spirit uplifted by the words that resonated deeply with her heart and mind. As the day drew to a close, the monastery echoed with the teachings that brought clarity and peace to seeking souls. The disciples carried the Buddha's wisdom within, a guiding light through the uncertainties and complexities of their paths ahead. under the stars that stretched across the heavens. Soma found renewed purpose in her craft, contentment replacing her lingering fears. Another day, the golden rays of dawn illuminated the monastery as the disciples prepared for the Buddha's daily teachings. A king, accompanied by his retinue, approached the Buddha, his face burdened with the weight of his kingdom's challenges. It reveals the truths of existence and the path to liberation. He gestured towards the setting sun, its golden hues painting the sky, just as the sun sets. Suffering too shall pass, Buddha said. Its lessons remain, illuminating the path ahead. He gestured to the disciples, saying, "Let me share the story of two kingdoms that faced famine and chose different paths. In one kingdom, the ruler hoarded resources, creating division and resentment among the people, leading to chaos and greater suffering. Buddha began. In the neighboring kingdom, the ruler distributed aid wisely and promoted unity, teaching sustainable practices to ensure the people's resilience, he said. The second kingdom thrived, not through wealth or control, but through compassion, foresight, and the strength of their community, Buddha concluded. The king listened intently, his heart moved by the profound lessons embedded in the Buddha's tale of wise and ethical leadership. Buddha said, "As a shepherd guides a flock to safety, so must you lead your people with care and foresight. They are the seeds of a just and harmonious world." The forest of Jetavana embraced the disciples, its serenity mirroring their inner peace. The disciples nodded in agreement, reflecting on the universal truths of governance and the importance of compassion in leadership. The king bowed deeply, expressing gratitude for the Buddha's teachings that illuminated the path forward for his troubled and uncertain kingdom. Ananda lingered, his heart filled with gratitude and reverence. "Master, your words are a treasure," he said. "Lead with fairness, educate with purpose, and nurture trust, for these are the foundations of a prosperous and resilient society," he emphasized. The sun ascended higher in the sky as the teachings concluded, filling the monastery with a radiant and peaceful light. The king departed with renewed resolve, inspired to embrace the virtues of wisdom and compassion in his role as a ruler. The disciples remained, silently contemplating the Buddha's teachings and how they could apply these truths to their own lives and communities. Buddha's serene presence lingered in the hearts of all who had gathered, a guiding light through the uncertainties of existence. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video. Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, his serene gaze fixed on the horizon. A grieving woman named Kisa Gautami approached, her face etched with sorrow. She carried her lifeless child, her tears falling like rain. "Master," she pleaded, "bring my son back to life." The disciples bowed deeply, their souls awakened to the teachings. The river flowed on, its rhythm a testament to resilience and harmony. Another day, another lesson awaited Buddha's disciples in the depths of the forest, where wisdom blossomed in the simplest of scenes. Buddha led them to a clearing, the majestic banyan tree standing proudly at its center. At each door, she asked for a mustard seed from a home untouched by death. Every household she visited shared tales of loss and grief, their stories echoing her own pain. Exhausted, Kisa Gautami returned to Buddha, her understanding deepened by her journey. "Master," she said, her voice trembling, "I see now that suffering is universal." The disciples listened, captivated by the tree's presence and Buddha's words. "It faces storms, yet it does not topple. It binds us to the impermanent and blinds us to the truth." He gestured towards the forest, its trees shedding leaves in the gentle breeze. "Just as leaves fall, life too is transient," Buddha continued. "To transcend suffering, one must embrace impermanence." Buddha continued, "Inner strength is not resistance to the storm, but knowing how to bend without breaking." like the tree's branches. He gestured toward the branches above, their leaves swaying in the breeze. It chains us to the fleeting and obscures the path to liberation. He narrated the story of a prince who lost his kingdom but found peace through detachment. Roots are grown through daily acts of mindfulness and moments of inner reflection, he continued. When you confront challenges, do not fight them with resistance. Embrace them like the roots embrace the earth. The disciples looked to the banyan, its expansive reach reminding them of its resilience through time. Buddha walked closer to the tree, placing his hand upon its rough bark. The tree does not lament the storm, nor does it fear the drought. It is the key to navigating life's storms with equanimity. He narrated the tale of a monk who found peace through meditation and self-reflection. Acceptance is the nourishment that feeds the roots and fosters growth, a disciple named Mira asked softly. Master, how do we practice acceptance without losing our desire to overcome hardships? Buddha's eyes sparkled as he replied, acceptance is not surrender. It is the wisdom to acknowledge what is and the courage to act with purpose. Mira felt enlightened, her heart lightened by the lesson. Buddha continued walking, guiding the disciples to the base of the banyan tree. The roots of the tree also remind us of our interconnectedness, he said. They weave into the soil, forming bonds that nourish others. The disciples looked closely at the roots, some visible above the ground, tracing the way they spread outward. Kisa Gautami, suffering is a teacher, Buddha replied. It reveals the truths of existence and the path to liberation. He gestured towards the moon, its light illuminating the forest, just as the moon shines amidst darkness. Wisdom illuminates the path through suffering, Buddha said. Buddha spoke again, his voice resonating. The tree's ability to endure is a reflection of its harmony with the natural world, not an escape from it. He paused briefly, observing the reactions of his disciples. Harmony is achieved by balancing effort and rest, ambition and contentment, individuality and community. The disciples reflected on these pairs, recognizing their own imbalances and seeking ways to restore harmony. Buddha turned his attention to the smaller trees and plants surrounding the banyan. Kisa Gautami, let your actions be guided by compassion and wisdom, Buddha replied. They are the seeds of a just and harmonious world. He walked to a sapling nearby, its fragile stem bending slightly in the wind. Do not measure strength solely by might, Buddha said. Even this sapling possesses the potential to grow into a towering tree. The disciples felt inspired by the comparison, realizing that strength could be nurtured regardless of their present state. Buddha returned to the banyan, placing his hand once more on its trunk. Like this tree, your strength will not come instantly. Kisa Gautami, the path to understanding is not easy, Buddha replied, but it is illuminated by the light within each of us. Master, how do we cultivate patience when life demands urgency and speed? Buddha replied, patience is the art of steady progress, not stagnation. Move forward, but do not forget to pause and breathe. The sunlight shifted, its rays piercing through the canopy, illuminating Buddha and his disciples in a warm glow. The tree teaches us endurance, adaptability, connection, and patience, Buddha said. Another day, the forest of Jetavana was bathed in golden sunlight, its tranquility embracing the gathered disciples. Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, his serene presence radiating wisdom and peace. Buddha smiled, his presence radiating serenity and encouragement. The forest held its peace, the tree standing tall as a testament to unyielding inner strength. Hatred is never quenched by hatred, but by love, Buddha said. The disciples listened intently, their hearts yearning for the wisdom in Buddha's words. Imagine a fire, Buddha continued. It cannot be extinguished by adding more fire, only by water. The young monk nodded, his curiosity piqued by Buddha's analogy. Look at the lotus flowers, he said. They are born in the mud, yet they rise above it, unblemished. Love arises from understanding and compassion, Buddha replied. It is the antidote to hatred and the key to harmony. It shows us that we, too, can transcend our circumstances and shine. One disciple, Nisha, raised her hand hesitantly. Love has the power to heal and unite. The disciples exchanged glances, their minds absorbing Buddha's teachings. Injustice is a shadow, Buddha continued. It cannot withstand the light of truth and compassion. He gestured towards the forest, its trees standing tall and unwavering. He gestured toward a lotus bloom nearby. The lotus roots are in the mud, yet it reaches for the light above. So must you seek the light. The disciples reflected on these words, their minds connecting the metaphor to their own struggles and aspirations. Steadfastness arises from inner strength and mindfulness, Buddha replied. It is the foundation of resilience and peace. Another disciple, Arun, asked, Master, how do we find this light within ourselves when darkness surrounds us? Buddha smiled, his eyes filled with calm certainty. The light is always within you, Arun. Her actions were a beacon of hope and justice. The disciples nodded, their hearts inspired by Buddha's teachings. Compassion and wisdom are the pillars of justice, Buddha continued. They guide one through the labyrinth of life's challenges. The disciples nodded, understanding that clarity and strength came from within, not from external sources. Buddha gestured toward the pond again. Notice how the lotus remains untouched by the water, he said. It stays pure despite its surroundings. It reveals the depth of one's character and the strength of one's convictions. He gestured towards the setting sun, its golden hues painting the sky, just as the sun sets. Injustice too shall pass, Buddha said. Its lessons remain, illuminating the path ahead. Know your priorities and remain rooted in your values. Like the lotus in its mud, the disciples felt a renewed sense of purpose, their burdens seeming lighter as they absorbed the wisdom of detachment. Buddha continued, the lotus also teaches us patience. It does not bloom overnight but unfolds its petals in its own time. He pointed to a bud among the blossoms. See this bud? It holds the potential to bloom, but it waits for the right moment. Let your actions be guided by love and wisdom, Buddha replied. They are the seeds of a just and harmonious world. Trust in your efforts and the process of growth. The disciples bowed their heads, their hearts resonating with the lesson of patience and trust. A young disciple, Kabir, spoke up, Master, how do we remain patient when pressures demand quick results and constant productivity? He asked. Buddha responded with calm assurance. Patience is not passivity, Kabir. The path to understanding is not easy, Buddha replied, but it is illuminated by the light within each of us. Buddha gestured toward the reflections on the water. The lotus also reminds us of balance, he said. It is rooted in the earth yet reaches for the sky, he elaborated. In your life, balance is essential. Balance between effort and rest, ambition and contentment, self and others. The disciples pondered these words, their minds turning inward to assess their own imbalances and how to correct them. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.